Hey, so Coach Bismarck here today, speaking to you live from Haven Gym, and we got a couple of tips, what I think are underrated fitness life transformative tips that are going to be contrarian. They're going to be, say, unusually spoken of, but that nonetheless they're going to be in towards your very benefit if you go ahead and heed and listen to the advice in this video or slash this podcast if you're listening to the podcast. And I think that everybody's got an opinion. Every single fitness professional, academic, fitness influencer, buddy, old head in the gym, anybody at all that you go ahead and ask for some fitness advice, they'll tell you cut out carbs, run, as much as you can. Make sure you go really heavy. Make sure you go really light so you can get the cuts. And there's all sorts of information out there that anybody will give. But I think that I am uniquely qualified in the sense that we are uniquely qualified here at Haven because we've been around for almost 10 years, transforming hundreds of lives across our community. And with that being said, I think there's certain advice that is underrated, certain advice that isn't usually spoken of, that if you, again, pay close attention to and utilize in your life, that can be very transformative for your health, your fitness, your strength, your leanness, your aesthetics, your fitness in general. So let's get cracking to it. And the very first one I think is drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Why is that so important? There's a bunch of different reasons why being hydrated is so important. And to give you an example, I think if the brain is just dehydrated about 1 to 10%, something like that, if the body's dehydrated by that small percentage, it has been shown that cognitive function already decreases without enough adequate water supply to the brain. Just by 1 to 10%. I forget what the specific number is. Number two, athletic performance improves. Your joints get lubricated, your core body temperature is regulated. You have more, say, hydration in your cells so that you're not going to cramp up while you're working out or going heavy. And nobody wants a Charlie horse when we're in the middle of a squat, right? Or we're in the middle of a sprint. What's more, energy. It provides you with more energy by providing more intracellular fluid to the cells. You also have a better improved digestion because water helps break down food and aids in nutrient transportation. So that's another reason why drinking half your body weight in ounces is so important. You might see a lot of gym goers, say, lug around a big gallon of water or a big, say, jug of water, and it's got about 100 ounces, if not more. Is that necessary? No, it's not necessary at all to drink a whole gallon of water. You could, right? But I think there comes a point of diminishing returns where after you exceed half your body weight in ounces of water, then there's really no more need for you to drink any more water. You're probably just going to be pissing it all away, which is why you find yourself, say, using the bathroom so often. Pro tip too, because as you do drink water, you do tend to use the bathroom more. Pro tip is to use some sea salt. Right, put some sea salt in there, just a pinch. Right, you're not gonna make it super salty. You're not gonna make it like seawater, right? By throwing in a whole bunch of pink Himalayan sea salt or Aztec sea salt, whichever sea salt of your choice it is. Why not table salt? Well, table salt is lacking in many minerals that are unique to Himalayan sea salt, for example. And so if you want to get all the minerals that you want to possibly from, and electrolytes possibly from your salt intake, then make sure that you put in a little bit of sea salt, not table salt, which is going to help you with your electrolytes, which is going to help you with your mineral intake, which is going to help you from having to go use the bathroom every single 5-10 minutes. So that being said, number two, regulate your sleep, your quality, your quantity, and your circadian rhythms. Now, if there is one piece of advice you can walk away from when it comes to sleep, because I know many of us sleep 8 hours, 10 hours, especially on a weekend when we sleep in, and we're like, what? I can't believe that. I still feel tired. I still feel as if I haven't rested. Well, the main culprit behind that, there's a couple, but the main one is that we have an irregular circadian rhythm. And our circadian rhythm, you can think about it as our biological clock or our body clock, where there's certain, say, times in a day where our body is attuned to wake up, or our body's attuned to go to sleep, or our body's attuned to get hungry, or our body's attuned to using the bathroom. The same way our ancestors, they woke up upon feeling on their photosensitive receptors on their skin, their light sensitive receptors on their skins, that hey, it's morning, get the hell up, go hunt, go build a fire, go, get up and get going. And the same way that melatonin is produced when, say, the sun starts to set and it starts to get darker, and now our brain is sending us a signal that hey, you might want to go to sleep because it's the end of the day. Those same hormonal signals of cortisol in the morning, of melatonin at night, amongst many other ones. Those are the ones that can contribute to a very, for lack of better words, a very shitty sleep experience. Because if one day you stay up till 1 in the morning watching Game of Thrones, guilty as charged, right? And you wake up at 5 in the morning, and then the next day you fall asleep at 9, and you wake up at 10, and then on the weekend you pick up any lack of sleep. Your body clock is all over the place, and you'll find that once you start setting a regular bedtime and a regular, say, wake time, regardless of how many hours you might get in a night, even if you only slept 4 or 5 hours, then you're going to find that upon waking, you're still a little bit tired, groggy, of course, but your body starts waking itself up because it knows, oh, right around this time, this is when I need to get up. You have your coffee, you have your regular meals, your blood sugar is regulated along your regular body clock rhythm, then all of a sudden you find yourself, say, sleeping better. Now, ideally, you would want to get an average of 7 to 9 hours per night. You don't just want to have a set wake time and sleep time and only follow one of those. No, you want to maximize the restfulness and the restorativeness of your sleep by making sure that you have those nice 7 to 9 hours on average. Every day is different. We have things that happen. Life happens, right? So that's what will be best. Thirdly, you want to make sure that you, and this is in descending order, from regulating your circadian rhythm with proper and regular wake and sleep times to getting an average of 7 to 9 hours. The third piece of advice is improving your quality of sleep. Number one, make sure that you're not ingesting. You have to watch what you're ingesting and consuming. If you're ingesting caffeine, alcohol, weed, right before bed or a few hours before bed, you're now putting yourself in a position to sleep. Although you might sleep 8 hours, although it's your regular sleep time and wake time that you're adhering to, you might find that, God damn it, I felt like I slept 2 hours. And well, that's because you're filling up your body with caffeine, you're filling up your body with alcohol, that's basically poison. You're filling up your body with weed that has also been shown to affect sleep quality negatively. Does that mean you can never have a glass of wine at night? No. Everything in moderation, everything in temperance, right? But it is just word to the wise that you should expect to have a lesser sleep quality when you ingest certain chemicals and foods, or if you don't like to sleep on a very full stomach, that's also another factor. But the point is that you need to watch what you're ingesting about 2 to 4 hours before going to bedtime, because those things can affect your sleep quality, although you might be having good sleep quantity, and although you might be having, say, adhering to a disciplined, regular sleep schedule. So that's number 2, regulate your sleep. Number 3, something is better than nothing. Here's a great little analogy. Let's say you're dying of thirst. You're in the desert, and you're like crawling your way to the Sahara, and all of a sudden comes this man on a camel, and this sheik, whatever that thing is called, covering his face from the rays of the sun. And he looks down upon you, and you look up, and you see all the heat waves somehow blocking his face from you being able to see him perfectly well. And in your faintedness, you see him extend out a glass of water, or like a little half coconut with water. You look into it, and it's only half full. What do? Do you drink it, or do you knock it out of his hand and say, "That's not enough. That's not that. I need more than that." No, you're gonna drink it, for God's sakes, because something is better than nothing. Same thing with your workouts. Yes, in an ideal, perfect world where we don't have commitments and obligations outside of working out, where we're not all IFBB bodybuilding pros, bikini competitors, where we all don't have a job, where we all don't have, say, family and kids and spouses, where we all aren't busy, and where we all don't have lives, then sure, yeah, you can get your 1 hour, 2 hour workout every single day. But if you've been working out the whole week, and then say comes Friday and you only got 30 minutes to work out, do half your workout. Only got 15 minutes to work out, do say just body weight stuff, hit some push-ups, hit some squats. Only got 5 minutes to work out, take a little quick walk, right? Take a phone call while you're working. Do something, because something is better than nothing, and your body is going to thank you for having given it that dose of, say, exercise and lymphatic fluid drainage and circulation and healthy eustress on the joints and the capillaries and the blood vessels and the muscles. It's going to thank you for that. And also mentally, you're keeping the chain, say, unbroken. Jerry Seinfeld, he has this idea that discipline is so important because what you want to do is you want to, say, keep the chain unbroken, where in his case, every single day he has a calendar. He marks an X on that calendar when he writes a certain amount of jokes. And no matter what, doesn't matter how drunk he was the night before, how hungover he is the morning of, whatever tragic thing has happened in his life, whatever, say, bad deals in the entertainment industry that he's struggling with, he knows that I have to write my X amount of jokes per day. And it seems like it's worked for him because, look at where he's now, right? Sitting on a whole ton and pile of cash and still receiving royalties from Seinfeld, which it's a decent show. I like it, but I think it's good background shows. So something's better than nothing. Number 4, you're not supposed to shake, cry, and approach total exhaustion at the end of every workout. Dr. Mike Israetel has a wonderful, say, scientific paradigm when it comes to training, the stimulus of training, the stress of training versus the fatigue that it creates. And he talks about the SFR, or the stimulus to fatigue ratio, or more elegantly, he also talks about, I think, the STFR, something like that. I forget, I'm butchering it, right? But the stress to recovery to fatigue ratio. And what that means is that when the human body has its limitations and the human body grows through challenge, with those two things kept in mind, we all know intuitively that if we work out for 8 hours in a day, and we do heavy squats, we run 20 miles, that our body's going to wear and tear, and our bodies are going to break down, quote unquote, overtraining. And what that's going to lead is to perhaps we make some advances in our fitness, but also we're not allowing ourselves enough room or capacity to recover from that challenge that we gave ourselves, because the body grows when it adapts, not when it's under stress, but rather when it's recovering from that stress. But if you are going so hard at every single one of your workouts that you don't give yourself the liberty to rest and recover and adapt and form a adaptive response to the training stress, then you're just going to end up with chronic illnesses such as common colds recurring frequently. You're going to end up with chronic pain, and you're going to end up with chronic injuries where you blow out a shoulder, you blow out a hip. And what's the point of you going so hard for 4 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and then all of a sudden now you got to go get surgery and you got to be out of the gym for a year because you tore an ACL? There's no point in that. We need to train intelligently, and we need to understand that not every single workout has to be 100%. On average, every single workout can be a nice steady, if you're ambitious, if you're well disciplined, a nice steady 80%, because we need that 20% room of leeway to allow for recovery from other stresses from life, such as your boss yelling at you, such as, say, your girlfriend leaving you, such as your boyfriend's fighting with you, such as your kids acting like a real little asshole. We need to give our body enough margin to recover so that tomorrow, the next day, and the day beyond that, by having given that longer perspective, that wider ranging perspective, well, we can continue training. And so not every single workout has to be balls to the walls, right? Number 5, choose your hard. Everything in life is hard. Some are harder more in the short term, but more pleasant in the long term. Some are harder more in the long term, but more destructive and less pleasant during the, say, short term. To give you examples, short-term things that are difficult, but say rewarding in the end, working out, eating healthy, getting to bed, going the hell to sleep, right? What's harder in the long term, or perhaps easier in the short term? sleeping in, having McDonald's every single day. It's quick, it's fast, it's cheap. What else? Not training at all. It's nice and easy to, just lay on the couch after a long work day, or not wake up early and, get your little run in. But where will you find yourself at as you approach 40, as you approach 50, as you approach 60? You're not going to find yourself in a position where you're really going to like. And so, again, choose your heart. Everything costs effort. Everything costs sacrifice. And something being difficult is not a good excuse for you to give it up. Another analogy here, raising kids is tough. Do you just say, is that a good excuse to not raise them? No, you got a kid. You raise them. You deal with it. You find a support group, whatever. You buck the hell up and you raise the goddamn kids, right? Same thing here. Now, a good reason to let go of something is because it's just perhaps not worth your time or energy or the sacrifice requiring of it. And in some cases, say training for an ultra marathon 6 times a year while holding a full-time job, perhaps that's not worth it, and maybe it is good sense for you to not do it. Sometimes there's certain points where you want to cut down body fat really well, and say counting calories is worth the extra sacrifice and effort. And perhaps there's other phases in your life that it isn't. But again, quitting something for good sense, like Winston Churchill said, that's great. But otherwise, there's no good excuse. Something being difficult is not a good excuse to say give it up. So again, choose your heart. Everything's hard. Just choose which heart you want to, pick. Number 6, stop skipping meals. What happens when you skip meals? Disrupted sleep, heartburn, cravings, potential eating disorders, hunger, anxiety, diminished productivity. Unless you are fasting underneath a structured intermittent fasting schedule, then you should be not skipping your meals because of the massive dysregulation you're doing to, your body. Your body needs fuel, and everything is so important until your health fails. And when it does, now the most important thing, more important than anything else, is your health. So yes, your kids need from you. Yes, your job and your boss needs from you. Yes, your family and your husbands and your wives, they need from you. But they won't be able to get any of you if there is nothing left of you to give to them. So make sure, as the often quoted proverb says, it's not even a proverb, right? But I'm making it sound fancier than it is. But the often quoted advice that circulates among us is common wisdom as fill up your cup so that you can give to others, and you can't give from an empty cup. Make sure to do that. Put yourself first and everybody else and everything else a close second. Otherwise, you're going to be putting, nobody first, because you have no ability to put anything anywhere at all because you're so tired and sick. So, number 7, walk. You can't lift weights? Walk. When you're stressed? Walk. When in doubt, go for a walk. And why? Because walking has been shown to improve mental health, sleep, physical health, immunity, weight loss. Walking is one of the very best things that you can do, especially if you're sedentary. If you're starting from 2,000 steps a day, adding on another 5,000 could be life transformative, quite literally. It'll help you shave off some pounds. It'll help you keep so much more good spirits and good energy. If you're someone who's already getting 10,000 steps, then perhaps an extra 5,000 wouldn't be that much more beneficial. Probably at that point, it makes more sense for you to engage in more rigorous exercise, such as running or lifting. But if you're someone who isn't getting any sort of exercise at all, then just walk. Right? Don't even go deadlift. Don't even do CrossFit. Don't even go to get a coach. Just walk. Just walk. It's going to change your life. Now, number 8, supplements are meant to supplement a proper diet. There is a solid, reliable short list of research-backed supplements that are worth the dollar and worth the paycheck. For example, creatine, protein powders, fish oil, caffeine, multivitamins. Those have been backed by many meta-analysis, literature reviews, indicating that you can't go wrong. Right? You're going to spend some money somewhere on optimizing your nutrition and your fitness. Go for some supplements. There's some other ones that are like on the B list. Yohimbe, commonly found in fat burners. Ashwagandha, found in, say, stress relief supplements. L-carnitine, found in pre-workouts. There's some evidence suggesting that it could be helpful. Placebo also helps as well too, but they're not as strong as, say, creatine, which is one of the golden tier supplements that you can possibly get. And there's some other ones that are more marketed than they are actually worth the paycheck. BCAAs, testosterone. They're just not worth burning your cash, your hard-earned cash, right? But that being said, supplements are meant to, say, be an accompaniment, if that's the word, to a proper sleep, diet, training, recovery regime. If you're sleeping 2 hours a day and you want to get a pre-workout, you need to go the hell to sleep. You don't need to go spend, $50, $60 on a supplement. Don't do that. If you are not if you're eating chicken only once a day and you're not eating any, if you're vegan, whether you're vegan or carnivore or whatever it is, but you're only getting 50 grams of protein a day. Maybe I just said 50 grams of protein and you're like, what the hell? There's grams of protein? I don't even know what is that, right? And you want to get some protein shakes? You gotta eat a steak. You gotta eat some garbanzo beans. You gotta eat some edamame pods. You gotta eat some chicken. You gotta eat some seafood. Eat some animal products. Eat some protein products, actually, if you are vegan or vegetarian. That's not your issue. Not the protein shake. Not the lack of it, right? Not the best tier brand on the market. Your issue right now is that you're just filling your body up with, say, fats and carbs, but no sort of protein. Where is your muscle going to recover from, right? Likewise, if you are looking for a fat burner because it's on the B list and you're like, you know what, I could totally do that, but you're eating 5,000 calories a day, buddy, my good friend, I don't think that your issue is getting the best fat burner on the market. I think that your issue is that you are over consuming your calories by at least 3,000 calories and you need to stop, right? So if you are doing well, you got dialed in, generally speaking, all your fitness dial, your sleep dial, your stress dial, and your nutrition dial, go. Spending money on supplements becomes an investment, a wonderful investment. If you're not, and you're looking for a magic pill, that you take this pill for 30 days, 3 of them, and also make sure you're on subscription, right? And you think that by the end of the 30 days, you'll lose the weight and you keep the weight off and, you'll be happy a year from now. I am very sad to say that is not the case. You are just wasting your money and your time and your energy simply because you are hoping to create a magic solution to what requires effort and discipline. And that, of course, can be made enjoyable because you can find what you like to do, right? But don't spend and waste money on supplements if you are not, say, accompanying them with a proper fitness routine. So bear that in mind. Number 9, if you do cardio, lift weights. If you run and you lift weights. Too many times I have seen men and women who really strong, right? They kill it in the gym. Ask them to go down some stairs to go pick up their mail. Huffing and puffing. Their heart health is hard. And what I would recommend for them as a coach, especially if they want to maximize their health and their longevity, their hormones, go for a run, right? Improve your cardiovascular capacity and recovery. If you're someone who runs a lot, then maybe you would benefit from picking up a barbell so that you can go ahead and stop wasting away so much muscle from all the cortisol you're flooding your capillaries with, and build some quads, build some hamstrings, build some ability to move some weight so that you can save your life, so that you can extend your lifespan, because muscle mass has been shown to be positively correlated with an extended lifespan. So again, if you run, lift. If you lift, run. Number 10, stop comparing yourself to others. Let's end this with a nice little mindset tip that's underrated. We all believe that self-esteem is the holy golden grail, that we all need to know our worth, that we all need to know that we are enough and that we are loved and that we are, say, these special, wonderful human beings. Well, the problem with that is for 3 things. So number 1, scrolling here, we are constantly changing and evolving. Number 2, that we are infinitely complex. And number 3, that we cannot predict with absolute certainty how we will act in the future. So valuing a human being and creating a sense of positive or negative self-esteem can be troublesome because, well, again, we're so complex, we're always changing, and we're always making 1,000,001 different decisions, and we never know what decisions we're going to make a year from now, next moment, or 10 years from now. And so it also poses a problem because then self-esteem poses the possibility that some men and women are better than other men and women, and some human beings are less than other human beings. But that's just not the case. It is thoroughly impossible to rate ourselves as human beings based off of our attributes, our traits, or our actions, because group, or just more than all those things, right? You're more than your job title. You're not just a doctor. You're also a husband and a father. You're more than, say, some failed past relationships you've had. You just have had made some bad decisions or have had some shitty luck. You are more than all the mistakes that you were made. You are more than all the virtues that you were making. You are everything and everything that we have listed, and beyond those, looking into the future for as far as your potential. So you can't rate yourself logically, realistically, and also from a practical standpoint. What does rating yourself do? Confusing yourself with the actions that you take leads to you going ahead and say, hey, I didn't work out today. I'm not as disciplined as that guy over there. I'm a shit. That leads to shame. That leads to self-destructive behaviors such as avoidance patterns, distracting patterns, or addictive patterns, obsessive-compulsive addictive patterns. And what good is that going to do for you because you missed your workout and now you're drinking at night? What good is it going to do for you if you missed a month's workout and now you're doing some hard drugs to numb the pain of your disappointment, your unhealthy shame in yourself? It would be better if instead you rated your performance and you said, well, I'm thoroughly disappointed and I'm thoroughly regretful that I haven't worked out for 2 weeks, but it's not going to help me if I go ahead and, drown myself in alcohol. No, what's going to help me is if I decide to get back up and recommit and redouble down. And then you find yourself a month, 3 months later, having not been perfect, but having been consistent, and holy hell, you are so much more healthier and grown and better for it. Versus, on the other hand, you self-flagellating yourself and calling yourself a horrible human being because you rated yourself as a human being and your value, and you compared yourself to other people, versus having accepted yourself along with all your warts, all your virtues, and not looking at other people and thinking, say, hey, he or she is better than me, but rather using some healthy jealousy and saying, you know what, he has a much more better physique than me. And he's just a man. I'm just a man. We're still men. She's just a woman. I'm just a woman. We're still a woman. No one's better than either one of us. But yeah, perhaps she has a more attractive body. I admire that. I want that. So let me work for it. That's a much more healthy response. A healthy negative emotion that's now going to propel you and help you commit and double down to, hey, seeing more of getting what you want in life. That's going to lead to longer range happiness. But unhealthy jealousy, unhealthy shame, that's not going to do anything at all, but just lead to a self-destructive path. So don't compare yourself. Don't rate yourself. Rate your performances. Use your healthy jealousy to, say, aspire to bigger and better things and goals. And use your disappointment in yourself and your actions that you've taken as a catalyst for, well, making better decisions. And so, with that being said, those are 10 underrated tips. I was going particularly fast, trying to jump from all different sorts of categories of fitness advice and counsel and tips, but I hope they were helpful. Again, I think these are things that aren't as commonly talked about, but that if you take heed and you apply them in your life, I think they, given how powerful they can be and given how unusually spoken of they are, I think that they're very, very, very underrated for their fitness life transformative, say, impact. So if you need some help and you're watching this and you're like, damn, I could use some of this coaching because I could use some support in helping me accept myself and helping me set a sleep schedule and helping me lose more body fat and helping me, say, improve my shoulder pain, then I recommend to you, my friend, to go ahead and call us at the number right here. I forget the number, as a very poor businessman here, because every businessman should know their business line, right? But it's going to be right there. And if you can call or text with the word transformation, I'll be more than happy to help you if you're within the Union County area. And yes, I'm looking forward to speaking with you to help transform your fitness and your life, and talk to you next time. Thank you for listening.